Sarah Listi from Tool Girls Garage is one of the best resources out there when it comes to home projects. I recently caught up with her to discuss when to repair versus when to replace.
Now it's time for Open House, sponsored by Pyramid Heating and Cooling.
It's been a little bit since she's been on the show. Sarah Listi, Tool Girls Garage. Welcome back to Around the House Northwest.
What's up, bud? How are you?
Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you.
No, it's been what a year. Like 2023 went by so fast, and we're all like, "What happened?" But I was recovering from a really big surgery, so I'm just now getting back in the shop, which is good in the sense, not that the surgery was good, that was horrible, but good because now I'm like full of ideas, and it's such a good like start to the year, right? We've talked about this so much that like there's no better way to start a year than with like a million ideas. And because of that out for the last few months, I'm like brimming with inspiration, which is kind of cool. If there was a good part, that's it.
There you go. What are you working on right now?
So I've got a couple things I'm working on. So I've got a lot of little projects. Like I'm doing a bunch of the wood flags. You've seen those a bunch. I get more requests for those than I even know what to do with. And I laugh every time because I'm like, if I make one more of these, it's gotten to that point where I'm like, I know I'm known for making these, but I don't want to make anymore. But I love it. So I've got a bunch of stuff like that, a bunch of boards, and I'm working on some small furniture projects. But I've got a couple of cool projects that I'm like really excited about. So I figured that we could talk about those because those are exciting. So first things first, talking about, having that kind of time away, and really when you get a chance to step back from what you love doing, you really can gain like a better appreciation for it. And it kind of re-inspires you to learn all the things that you like haven't had a chance to fully dive into, because life gets busy and you're busy doing it the way, or whatever. One of the things that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it kind of just got put on the back burner, was to make a really cool piece of furniture using tambour doors, which is just a really neat technique, where they add a shoulder and it falls in a rabbet. And so this door opens. Very common back in like the 70s. It's very like cool vintage like twist on say let's eclectic doors, the way to kind of different than your standard open and closed hinge doors, no hinges here. But it's neat because slides into track. So I've got this cool idea to take this we have this tea and iced coffee station. Okay, everybody has one in their house. Ours just doesn't happen to be in the kitchen. So I have this cool idea to make a really large piece using doors so it kind of can conceal and not be busy and like crazy, but a really cool feature. And it's just something I've been dying to learn how to do. So of course I had to incorporate it in that, kind of furniture plan inspiration idea. But I'm going to do something cool with it too, even beyond like just the mechanism. I'm going to try to do something with the pattern to make it like mix a couple species to make it really interesting. Just to kind of make it different, but it'll be a cool piece too, because I'll be doing some like internal drawers to not only organize like the appliances, but also like, the actual coffee and tea and like whatever. And, so I'm excited about that because that's just a neat, let's take a process that I've wanted to do forever. And now I'm like, okay, now I can do it. And I'm motivated enough to like make it happen, which is kind of cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's just something not everybody gets a chance to do. So.
No, and then you and I were talking before we started talking here about some dog repairs you got going on.
Oh my gosh. So Eric, I love my dogs. I have two big labs, right? One of ours is a water dog. And like when I mean a water dog, like he will literally try to break through a house to like get to a source of water. So our kids were swimming in the backyard a couple years ago. And he was watching out of our back windows, but they happen to have these really beautiful arched shutters. And so these are $15,000 to put in. They're astronomical expensive. Like they're so expensive. And I get it. Cause from my experience, they would take a lot of labor to assemble and like to design and put together.
Tedious work.
Yeah. And it's very tedious. That's exactly it. It's not even that the materials are that costly at this point. It's time. So he was so excited. He thought that if he could just remove these shutters or at least the bottom half of them, that he was going to just get in the water somehow. And obviously that was not successful, but I walked in and was like in tears because here's this like huge feature in our living room. They're 20 foot tall.
Yeah.
And they are like annihilated from like the waist down, like where there's like
Oh.
12 shutters in a row that are just toast. And there was one or two other pieces like that of slats that just got damaged over the course of years before we moved in.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because it's something new. I was not happy about how it came about. Obviously,
Sure.
gotta love that. But I'm excited because it's going to be a cool, like, really big feature point in the house. So walking in, this is like the whole design of a room. You know, when you have a feature that big, like I said, there's 2 windows, they're 20 foot high, they have a big arch at the top. That's all you see when you walk into a room. And I think people don't realize how much one feature can really influence an entire space. So like if you have
Yeah.
one thing that's not quite working, it's going to make a big difference. And these, so obviously, despite the ugly repair that needs to be, the ugly
Yeah.
damage that needs to be repaired, the just the finish and overall like vibe of them is not super modern. It's not, you know, it kind of dates the space, especially because I've done so much else in the room that
Yeah.
like this is such an odd, it just doesn't quite fit with our vibe. So we're gonna repair them, and I'm gonna film, actually start longer format content doing that, which has been a goal of mine for years. And it feels like this is the time I need to make that happen, you know?
Absolutely. Sarah, thanks for coming on today. And where can people find all your content?
Oh gosh, you can find me on Tool Girls Garage, and then of course on all socials: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter at Tool Girls Garage.
You got it. Thanks for coming on today, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. All right, have a good one, bud.
You too.